And also another thing to make very clear is this. When Paul was writing about everything that is to do with how we are made right and all of that, Romans chapter 3 verses 28 says this. I want also maybe to put a foundation to this. Beginning verses 27. Where is boasting then? It is excluded by what law? Of works? No. But by the law of faith. Look at verses 28. It says, therefore we conclude that a man is justified apart from the deeds of the law. Remember, in the New Testament, the Spirit of the Lord does what? Abideth on the inside of us. He enables us, empowers us to live by the word of the Lord. And so, the Bible says in verses 29, oh, is he the God of the Jews only? Is he not also the God of the Gentiles? Question mark. Yes, of the Gentiles also 30. Since there is one God who will justify the circumcised by faith and the uncircumcised through faith, do we then make void the law through faith? I think this is one thing that again the apostle was led by the Spirit of the Lord for us to put into consideration. Now that is to me now that we're in the New Testament, behold, we are now under grace, not under the law. That basically means that we should not hold on to the instructions that are given unto us, the commandments of the Lord. No, Paul says that, do we make, as believers in the New Testament, do we then make void the law? Now, in fact, to make it very much clear, let me try also to say that, using King James here, not the New King James here. It says in chapter 3, verses 31, that do we then make void the law? The word void means what? Do we render the law now idle, unemployed, inactive, inoperative? You see, this is one thing. Are we to cause it to cease? Paul actually says this by the Spirit of the Lord, and I know many of you will agree with me that Paul was an apostle that met the resurrected Christ. As far as we are concerned, we know what he said to the Corinthians that were looking down upon his apostleship in chapter 14, verse 37. He said that if any man thinks himself to be a prophet or spiritual, let him acknowledge that the things I write to you are commandments of the Lord. This is not like how I have heard some people belittle Paul and say, because he was having a scholarly background of him being actually a Pharisee and all of that, probably that thing that is to do with the pre-understanding was still disturbing him. Here there is nothing to do with any pre-understanding that was disturbing Paul. But he fully shared everything as he was led by the Spirit of the Lord.